Beginning to wonder what was more exceptional when Stephen Ross sat down with Joe Philbin across the table and said, "That's my man," after listening to Joe, or was he more excited when he heard Mike McDaniel say things like that? Mike, how would you face? How would you face your team after a small, short, hopefully losing streak? And he says something like that, and Stephen Ross says, "This is the guy. Get the contract." Hey, Garfunkel, get in here with the contracts.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the program. I'm Jeff DeForce. That one over there in the other box happens to be one Mike Papa Lubie Lubitz. So very happy to be with you on a cool, brisk morning here in South Florida. It's going to be brief. I think it's going right back up to 100 degrees by mid-afternoon, and that'll be that. Big cold front. Iguanas falling from trees, weather people in a panic. It's amazing. People eating each other's flesh just to survive. I mean, it's right out of crashing a plane into the Andes Mountains there in the movie Alive, one of my all-time favorite references. Good to be with you guys. It was refreshing. I stepped outside for a second. And just absolutely fantastic. It started to cool down a little bit last night. Was out on the tennis courts, and you could feel it coming. You could feel it. But always nice when we get wouldn't it be good if it lasted like 2-3 days? There'll be a little bit of cold. Or is it too early for that? Now, the rest of the country, I mean, it's not favorable what's going on there. We're laughing because it's going to be sunny and very, very pleasant out all day long. Was watching some, you'll find this surprising. I was watching some racing on FanDuel TV yesterday. And they had all these schlepper B-grade Northeastern tracks going, which when Parks looks like Del Mar to you, that's when you know that you're watching low-level racing or lower-level racing. It's all the same to me. You can lose your money betting on cheap claimers just as well as you can betting on the Breeders' Cup. Is it more exciting to lose your money or more meaningful to lose your money on bigger races, Lubie? No. And I was always one of those people that arrived like in Atlantic City or some casino destination like Vegas on a Tuesday. So that was the calendar of events. You had Mahoning Valley, Parks, Horseshoe, Indianapolis. You had what else was running yesterday? Finger Lakes. So what wasn't very favorable. The weather around the country was definitely on the let's make sure you got plenty of padding on in terms of layers of clothing and a big, fat winter coat. So we're enjoying it down here. Good to be with you. It's a Veterans Day. A lot of things strike you on Veterans Day, Lubie. I won't forget this. I remember standing up in a social studies class, and they had, this was 1969, I guess. It was either 68 or 69. I graduated high school in 69, so I want to say this was my junior year, 68. We didn't know that much about the war in Vietnam. The social studies teacher, who was also the junior varsity basketball coach, a guy named Mr. Tideman, asked everybody who was in favor of the war in Vietnam to line up on one side of the room, and those who were opposed to line up on the other, okay? Oh, so, and this is where we stood, because we believed everything that the government fed us was good. Can you imagine that being the case today? I mean, when you look at the overall chaos that's taking place, it's not even a daily basis during the Trump administration. It's like a minute by minute thing, isn't it, Lubie?
Yes, it's multiple times a day. That's my problem. Is it's like all day long. It's so much craziness that you just can't keep track of all of it.
You used to get maybe one shocker here and there, and you go, "Whoa, can you believe Nixon did that?" Yeah, he actually was spying on people while he was campaigning for president, and somehow 18 minutes of audio tape got erased. Conveniently, that might have been very damning and condemning in terms of making him a criminal. That was like alarming. But now every day there are like 14 different things. But I do remember in this case, there were two kids. Nobody really had long hair yet. I mean, that really hadn't evolved. And there were two guys that had hair down to their ass that faced scrutiny every day from the principal of the school there at John F. Kennedy High School in Belmore. And they were the only two on the side that were opposed to the war in Vietnam. This is 1968. We didn't know anything about what was going on. And I'll remember the smartest kid in the class, or among the smartest kids in the class, was a guy named Ed Baer, B-A-E-R. I don't know whatever happened to him. But and he gave a very eloquent statement of his position, which was one of the things, and I'll never forget this. He says, "A small war is good for the nation's economy."
Yeah,
It was like, yeah, that makes sense. We're all prospering.
yeah.
That was an argument that people bought into. And now, the very next year, I had a complete 180-degree turnaround because I got to Syracuse
Yep.
freshman year, and across the hall from me at the Marion Dormitory, where I started out, was a pair of guys that one of whom had just gotten back from a tour of duty in Vietnam.
Oh wow.
And I mean, I always had great respect for military people for whatever reason, even though cops in New York City were respected when I was growing up. And they kind of made themselves part of the neighborhood. It was a whole different vibe. I mean, you didn't have this big distance and separation between cops and the community that they were supposedly responsible for protecting and serving, as the slogan would go in L.A. But this was New York City. It was like Officer Joe Bolton was the guy. I mean, he was a neighborhood cop, and everybody knew him. And usually, even though he frowned upon kids that were doing mischievous things like throwing eggs through the window of buses as they passed by, and various other forms of what would you say, chaos, destruction. They had a sort of an understanding with the people in the neighborhood, and there was great respect. And while always respecting military people, I never developed any deeper respect than to see how messed up this guy had become from his tour in Vietnam. We had no idea what the hell the guy was experiencing. I mean, that became much clearer when you saw things like the Ken Burns documentary, or any. I mean, this was the first war that was really televised, and you're watching these atrocities taking place, and you're thinking, my God, it's a shame that when these soldiers came back from Vietnam, that they were disparaged to the point where, I mean, literally, as they were getting off planes, people were spitting on them in the airport, and they were really treated badly. So, with that in mind, my respect was even deepened for military people, seeing how this guy's mind and his whole life was impacted by this tour of duty there. So we salute all of our veterans, and it's nice to see that whole sort of philosophy and approach has changed. Where did you find this to be true, Louis? Where people really are grateful for the people that served in the military, as opposed to the way they were when all of this controversy about the Vietnam War was first surfacing, and everybody
Yeah,
was involved.
yeah. I mean, that was the first time, and really the only time, that military people were not respected upon their return. Again, I never got that one. Be mad at the government and be mad at the kids signing up to enlist to
I don't
defend.
even know if they were enlisting. I mean, most of these guys were drafted.
First,
was-
first of all, you had the draft, exactly. So a lot of these guys didn't even choose to go. Second, no, they didn't pick to go there.
No.
I never got that, why those the boys and the ladies that came back were spit on and treated like garbage, because it wasn't on them. Like,
No.
be mad at the government for lying and bullshitting. Don't be mad at them for trying to defend our freedom. Like, I never got. That was weird to me.
Very strange approach, although these people were being targeted as if they were representative of the government, when the truth was they might have been doing everything in their power to dodge going
Yes.
to Vietnam, except many of them just ended up in a circumstance where they're being shipped off, and that's it. Next thing you know, you're thrown into this crazy jungle, and insane things are going on around you right out of Apocalypse Now. So we salute our veterans today, and we definitely have a very warm and sincere regard for all the people that risked their lives, and in many cases came back from various wars and various conflicts, compromised physically, mentally, and they deserve all the best. So, do you say Happy Veterans Day? It's not. I mean, is it a happy occasion? It's kind of like,
It's remembrance. So
yeah, it's like
uh,
Memorial Day type of thing. I
just
mean,
say
Happy
thank
Memorial
you.
Day doesn't make
Like,
sense.
thank you for what you did on Veterans Day. It's more
All
about
right, so we thank all of our servicemen, and definitely take a moment out of every day to think about some of the people that have gone out there and sacrificed their own personal ability to just enjoy a nice, smooth ride in life, and took the time to go out there and protect some of the values that our country once stood for, Libby. Once stood for, I guess, would be the clarification that you have to make. All right, many things happening in the world of sports. I'm still waiting for the Packers to score. Oh, my God, they finally got a late touchdown last night. I was involved slightly with the Packers in a wagering situation. Just handed them. I didn't really have a strong opinion about that game. The Packers, a very unusual circumstance where they have held 3 teams under 17 points in losing efforts this year. So he played, what? They played 10 games, I want to say yes. And whether it's 9 or 10 games, the Packers 3 times have held their opponent to 16 points or less, or 17 and less, and lost. The rest of the league in that same situation, Lubie, holding a team under 17 points is something like 61-5, maybe even
Jeez.
a better margin than that. But the Packers have been victimized by the fact that their offense, surprisingly, under Matt LaFleur, who's supposed to be this offensive genius, can't score at a Heidi Fleiss pool party. And that was the case again last night. Philadelphia's defense, ex-Dolphin factor, is becoming huge around the league, is it not, Lubie? Ex-Dolphin factor, who was one of the stars of the game last night defensively. Now, he benefits from having 2 enormous and very effective and impactful tackles, and that would be Jalen Phillips, traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. Had a huge game last night, huge influence on the game, including several key plays. He didn't have any sacks, but he had a lot of pressures. He was involved. He stuffed a guy, keeping him from getting a key first down. And the other factor that's there with the Philadelphia Eagles, ex-Dolphin factor, is this becoming like the ex-Cub factor in Major League Baseball, where if you look at the good teams, they all feature an ex-Cub player. That was prominent at one time. I don't know if that's still the case in Major League Baseball, where you can cite the ex-Cub factor. But the ex-Dolphin factor, Vic Fangio, of course, defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, they looked great on defense last night. And Jalen Phillips playing a big role in the ball game. 10-7 was the final. Strange call, Lubie, by Nick Sirianni. Is Nick Sirianni, he's got what? 2 Super Bowl, does he have 2 Super Bowl wins,
One.
Sirianni, or 1?
Just one. They went to 2.
One. They
He
went
lost
to 2 and won 1. Yeah, they lost to
one
KC.
to the Chiefs when
Yeah.
they had a lead, and then they won last year.
They won last year. So you couldn't say that this guy's a lousy coach, could you? Although he started out last year, didn't he, somewhat on the Ed Ogeron?
Yeah, well, did they miss the playoffs year before or lose the first round? So he was not
something negative happened, yeah.
their favorite son. And then last year they started a little sluggish, and then they found Saquon Barkley. And then their offense opened up, which has not been the case this year. Their offense, and that's why he's getting guffed this year, because he's an offensive guy, and their offense is one of the worst in football.
This comes under the heading of what the hell were you thinking? He's got a 4th down and 6, 33 seconds to go in a game, protecting a 3-point lead at the Green Bay Packers 35-yard line. Did you catch the end of this game, Lubie?
Oh, I didn't watch any. I'm in bed by like 9 these days, so I check out the scores and the highlights the morning after.
Almost anybody else in the league punched the ball there.
Yeah,
Trying to draw the other team offside. That wasn't going to get him a first down, but it might have got him to the point where it was more conducive to going for it on 4th down. Sirianni loves to go for it on 4th down. We know that. They do have the tush push. If it had become a 4th and 1, you can't imagine he would have done anything different than to go ahead and run a tush push. Successful, I believe, 75% of the time, which is a low percentage for that play so far this year. So maybe the rest of the league is catching wise to it. Still seems like a completely illegal maneuver that should be somehow administrated out of the game, in my opinion. I know that's probably not a popular opinion. I don't know how you feel about this, Lubie. But if you can push a ball carrier forward and get the yardage achieved, yeah, then why can't a defense push the guy backwards and instead of getting forward progress and putting the ball almost always in what seems like an overwhelmingly favorable spot? It's kind of like a Canelo Alvarez Adelaide Bird scorecard. They always seem to get the benefit of the doubt. But, I mean, why wouldn't you be able to just go ahead and send 11 guys defensively onto a ball carrier and push them back 10 yards and have the ball be spotted there?
100%.
How is that possible that somebody doesn't see this? I mean, I don't know that that's ever even been brought up by anybody that's examining this particular circumstance.
I think it's ridiculous. And I get it. No one's gotten hurt from it. But to me, it just is begging for someone to get hurt. On top of that, every time the Eagles go early, so it should be false start, and they never call the false start, which is weird. They don't line up properly. Like one of the guys lines up, like they always line up over the line of scrimmage. So that, again, should be offside, offensive offsides that they never call.
Everything's wrong with this play. You're right.
And the play is illegal. Like my whole life it was illegal. I don't know. I guess in the 2000s they meant, but you were never allowed to push guys. So they made it legal in the early 2000s or 2010s for some reason, which I don't get. There's nothing good about this play. they got this one last year out of it because after winning a Super Bowl, people didn't want to look bitter, but it's not going to exist anymore going forward. So what? It was 4th and 1 in their own whatever, and he went for it and did the stupid tush.
No, he didn't. It was 4th and 6, 35-yard line, 33 seconds to go. You're protecting a 3-point lead. Okay, so what are your options? You could try to kick a field goal there. That would have been, what, a 52-yarder. He opts not to do that. That would have put you up 6 points. Still a touchdown beats you, but they would have had to go all the way, not needing a field goal, which if you fail on this 4th down play, you're going to be giving the Green Bay Packers with 33 seconds to go a legitimate chance to go about 35, 40 yards and kick a game-winning field goal. So sure enough, he throws a bomb in this spot to Brown. The pass is incomplete, and the Packers end up with 33 seconds left on the clock. I believe they still had timeouts, might have even been 2, and they have a legitimate chance to go down the field and tie the ballgame, send it into overtime. Seemed like a bizarre decision. I don't know how he defended it. Now, it looks great if you complete the pass and ice the ballgame right there. But the odds are not with you. The analytic guys must have been flipping out. I don't know what they did. What did they put a rope around the neck of the guy with the analytics?
Is that an analytics call? Like, to me, punting is sort of questionable because if it goes in the end zone, you only gain 15 yards. So I'm weird about punting there. The way kickers make 60-yarders now, I don't know why you wouldn't attempt to kick because, maybe they gain 5 yards, but it's still by then it'll be like 27 seconds left. And their defense had played lights out. So I would kick a field goal there, make it a full touchdown. And then after the kick, they're down to like 27, 26 seconds and have to go the whole field to get a touchdown. Like that plays the last thing I would do, especially since Jalen Hurts has been average this year. Like maybe he fumbles, maybe he throws an interception. That's a weird call.
Well, it nearly cost them. They did get it down, not quite into realistic field goal range. Nobody makes these kind of field goals at Lambeau Field. Wind might have been a factor. I don't remember what the situation was with that, but they did end up attempting a 64-yard field goal. There was a timeout called, I believe, right before the kicker was about to execute this field goal, and he did get a kick away, and it ended up just short. So he had a second opportunity after getting a chance to gauge what it was going to take to knock this thing through. And I guess he realized he was going to have to put a little extra firepower on this thing and ended up shanking one badly. And that was the final play of the game. But they had an opportunity there. I mean, they didn't miss by much. If they got another 5 yards, they would have been in much more legitimate field goal range and had a chance to send the game to overtime, all because this guy goes for a bomb on a 4th and 6 play from their own from the Packers 35-yard line. Very strange game last night. Very strange. But that ended up week number 10 in the National Football League, and we're all set for week 11, although that wasn't the only news coming out of the league, Lubie. This happened. Brian Daboll got fired by the New York Giants. The numbers are not pretty there with Brian Daboll. He was the coach of the year in 2022. This was very Tony Sparano-esque, wasn't it?
The funny thing is, and he should have been fired, and he's been a disaster, he has a playoff victory. The one thing Mike McDaniel, who has yet to be fired, does not have.
Yeah, but McDaniel's numbers aren't this sorry. No matter what. McDaniel's about a 500 coach, so somewhere in that neighborhood, is he not? He might even be slightly ahead of 500. I think he is. Here are the numbers on Daboll. 2022, he's a coach of the year. He wins a playoff game, takes a Giant team that was downtrodden, turns them around. He's got, Daniel Jones as his quarterback, and seems to be doing all of the things that would be associated with being a quarterback whisperer, which he was deemed to be when he came off the Buffalo Bills staff of McDermott and had done a great job with Josh Allen. Since 2023, Daboll's Giants are 11-33. Since 2024, they're 5-22.
Yeah.
In their last 22 ball games, they're 3-19, and they're a cumulative 5-17-1 against the NFC East. That's grounds for dismissal, Lubie. So I don't think anybody was surprised that happened. And also, he has blown this year as a coach 4 double-digit fourth-quarter leads.
Oh, geez, it's 4 double-digit fourth-quarter leads?
4 double-digit, including last Sunday. 4 times the Giants were leading by 10 or more in the fourth quarter
Ugh.
and lost this year and accumulating their 2-8 record. Supposedly, they found their quarterback of the future there in Jackson Dart.
Yes.
Dart, however, he's got him doing a lot of strangely vulnerable things. Dart is not inclined to slide. He's got a little Tua syndrome, and he's already developed a little Tua syndrome because I believe he's been checked out for concussions 4 times already this year, including this last time when he runs a play at the end of the ball game, gets knocked out, and actually, after being examined, they said, "Nope, this guy's seeing bugs." And ends up with a concussion, which is no laughing matter because we see what it does to people, long-term effects. But some of that was being pinpointed at Brian Dable, saying that he needs to teach this guy how to handle situations like this and use a little discretion instead of the better part, as the better part of valor, and slide once in a while. So he gets canned. No surprise there. Couple of other things on the coaching side. Was that real or was that Memorex, the Mike McDaniel thing at the elbow room? What's your stipulation on that?
I don't know. Like I'm curious if it's AI. Like if you just put him in a car and put it there, because that's clearly him in the car. He hasn't confirmed it, but he didn't deny it either. So
Coyley dodged the question yesterday. He says he lives in the neighborhood, but and then he said that AI is real. So what do you think? Was it real? Well, did he really drive by the elbow room after the Buffalo Bills game to troll?
Yeah, I feel like he did. I feel like that is something he definitely would do. The Bills, the room is a Bills haven, and the Dolphins beat them convincingly. So I feel like something he would do. Now you're 3-7, so that's a little weird. And they're 6-3 or 6.
Can you imagine Shula doing that?
No. But his teams won. Like this guy's teams don't.
All those years where Louis Oliver was getting beaten like a drum by those great Bills wide receivers, and Thurman Thomas was destroying them. Could you see after finally cracking through and getting a victory, Don Shula driving by the elbow room and going, "It's to you, Bills fans. Go back to Buffalo, you assholes."
I could see Olivedati. If Olivedati finally had a
He was usually hiding in shame after
exactly.
any encounter with the Buffalo Bills. Are you kidding me? But yeah, that was a strange one because he didn't deny it, so it's possible, I guess, that it's true. Mike Tomlin, great answer there when asked about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers appears to be a shot fighter, if there ever was a definition of that. If you wanted to hang a poster up and label it shot fighter, it seems to be Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I mean, his career, obviously, you're thinking this is probably his last year. Does he even survive the season as a starter? Because the Pittsburgh offense has been abysmal with Aaron Rodgers. What was horrible in his last ball game, and he's making, whether it's that he doesn't have any decent receivers or whatever the circumstances, Father Time has intervened. He's making some bonehead decisions with the ball, Aaron Rodgers. So they asked Tomlin, "How would you assess Aaron Rodgers' performance?" And he just looked back at the reporter and said, "How would you assess it?" And that was it. So a little bit of consternation there about Pittsburgh, which Tomlin always seems to get his team off to decent starts, and then reality sets in, and they come back to the. All right, last night the Heat are victorious, 7-4 now in the season, 140-138 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. In that game, his Powell was a good pickup. He had 33 points. Andrew Wiggins, who we thought, how pleasant is it? Yeah, you know what? The best thing about this season is no Jimmy Butler drama. How sickening did that become last year, really?
It was annoying. It was
almost like the Trump administration, wasn't it? Every day it was something.
Yeah, it was just stupid. Well, and it just made no sense because the Heat were acting responsibly and had paid him a lot of money. So what he wanted, and he had done nothing to earn more money. I mean, look what he's doing with the Warriors. He'll have a good game, and then you don't hear from him for 2 or 3 games. Like he's doing exactly he did in the playoffs. They were so excited, and then he did nothing. He had like the one game, and then you didn't hear from him barely the rest of the playoffs. And they went down the Flames in the second round. Like, get away! Like the guy's done, and he always has to go out with a whimper. I get it. He wanted one more deal. He got it from the Warriors, and he got a very valuable piece in Andrew Wiggins, who now with the Powell trade, now with the emergence of Jaquez, who forgot what last year was and picked up where he left off the first season, and it's like last year didn't happen. Like they have a very interesting team, and Wiggins fits in very well with what they have. They're very
They do this without Bam and without Hero, of course.
no Hero or Bam, the top 2 players. Yeah,
Wow.
2 of the top 3 players.
How about this? I mean, we were talking about this the other day, and the way basketball has changed. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to make these observations. The over-reliance on three-point shooting. Will it lead to the? I mean, look, if you're looking at the score, you're thinking, wow, this was a wild game, probably wildly entertaining. 140-138 in overtime. The Cavaliers shot over their 120 shots that they took in this game. 63 of them were three-pointers.
Oh, Jesus.
You imagine it? Watching a team chuck up 63 three-pointers in a game. The Cavs are very effective with the three-pointer, although seems to be a bit obsessive, doesn't it? That's 98 consecutive games in the regular season by the Cavs with 10 or more made three-pointers. I think they made 20 in a game.
Okay.
So they shot around 33%, which is right on the number, because 33% of threes is the equivalent of what is the ultimate barometer, Mr. Batting Average, which you always felt like you had to make 50% of your shots. Didn't you? I mean, when you were hoisting them from the outside, Lubie, regardless, I mean, you wanted to shoot 50% from the field.
Yeah.
That was the benchmark.
Yep.
For me, anyway. I mean, if you were going to rate whether or not you had a good game, this is in stark contrast to what happened with Cade Cunningham last night, who had 40-something points. I believe it was low 40s. But he did that on like 15 of 45 shooting from the field. Imagine this. You have a 40-something point game and you missed 30 shots in the game. It was the most missed shots. Rick Barry's name came up twice yesterday in terms of records that you might have to do some digging to come up with. I believe Rick Barry, that was the most missed shots, field goal attempts by a single player in a ball game, NBA ball game since 1967, where Rick Barry missed 30-some-odd shots. And then the other time Rick Barry came up, Luka Doncic, I guess, has scored 280-something points. I mean, some ridiculous number of points. He's averaging, I don't even think he's the top scorer in the league, but his average is like 35 and change. And that is the most points accumulated, I think, through 10 games of the season since Rick Barry did it in 1966. So you had Barry reference from 66, from 67 in a positive light and also in a negative light. But Detroit off to a real good start this year. You thought they might be pretty good. And Cade Cunningham, 40-some-odd points last night while missing 30 field goal attempts. That's incredible, huh? Could you imagine being in a game and missing 30 shots?
I mean, that's insane.
I don't care how many you made. I mean, it's a low percentage. You shoot 30
shooting. I mean, it's impressive to keep shooting after that.
It's 30 shots.
I love that. I love that.
It wasn't like they only had 5 guys and they had to just keep feeding this guy.
That's such a new world, because back in the day, though, to either bench you or said go inside.
Are you kidding me?
Go inside them. Like they wouldn't have not like Spoelstra's the king of just keep shooting. Like what?
Imagine doing this in front of like Gene Shue or one of these old coaches. Get out of here. Red Auerbach's going to let you miss 30. If Hondo Havlicek had missed 30 shots.
Oh, no.
He would have never sniffed the floor again. He would have been sitting deeper on the bench than my man Mel Counts. So the Heat win that. They're 7-4 now on the season. They play Cleveland again tomorrow night. Jaquez had 22 in support. Wiggins had 23.
Yep.
Kind of interesting. No Bam, no Hero. So you have to applaud them for playing. Spoelstra, wow. Anybody who doubts that this guy can coach, it doesn't matter what you give him. He's able to make something happen with it.
Yes.
It's a shame to see him so severely disrespected by Jimmy Butler last year. And I guess everybody will always remember LeBron coming over there and bumping him out of the way as if he didn't exist. But still, I mean, you would have to say that all of this praise that goes to Eric Spoelstra as being one of the great coaches in the NBA, well-deserved. He always makes something happen. The Panthers won. They beat, Las Vegas last night? Was that it? Golden Knights?
Yes.
3-2.
Yes.
So, and Marchand is off to an incredible start. I think he has like 11 goals.
He's literally been their saving grace. He's the reason they're competitive and in the playoff discussion is because of Marchand, to be brutally honest.
Yeah. I'm going to come back. If you see the video of this pitch by Clase of the Guardians, very interesting. A big push on now to. It's funny too because what made FanDuel and DraftKings fantasy betting, which is all based on prop bets, and so this whole generation that they molded into making these prop bets now that's all they're doing. It's funny. I mean, the various gambling shows I do, I think it's like futile to be picking the side. Oh my God, I really like the Chiefs tonight. Nobody gives a flying one about that.
No, these days they don't care.
They don't care.
No, they don't care.
Now people are. I mean, can you imagine betting on individual pitches in a ball game, whether or not it's going to be a ball or a strike?
Insane.
What would really be interesting, though, we'll get into this when we come back, because there's a scenario I think that's going to occur that is going to really shake up the gambling world, and we'll get into it. Because if you watch this pitch, it's worth seeing. The pitch that really became the scathing indictment in the Clase case, where there was an inordinate amount of money bet on the fact that he was going to throw a ball in that spot, and he literally yanks one. It's at least 4 feet outside. It bounces halfway to home plate and goes all the way to the screen. And you're looking at that going, my God, if the fix wasn't in on that pitch, then it never was. I mean, all you would have to do is show this video in court and say, okay, so somebody bet $70,000 this was going to be a ball, some of which ended up in your bank account, Clase. What do you have to say about that? There's no justification for it. All right, back with more here on a Tuesday edition of the program in a moment. Now that. You got to see this pitch, Libby. Yeah, you got to look it up. It's 8:38.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe B.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
You know what I'm gonna do? Because you don't ever give me a face shake. You know that? So I'm gonna let you talk to Victor Ortiz, all right? I'm through. They put somebody else up there and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you
talking
heard
about? You never give me a face shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know about boxing. You ain't you not.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
Crossroads. Wow, that would have been some crossroads. So Larry Merchant, even 50 years younger, trying to stand in there with one Floyd Money Mayweather. I think that would have been ugly, Lubie. You really think Merchant would? It's nice to have confidence, but thank goodness Mayweather didn't take exception with that and start throwing punches at 90-year-old Larry Merchant, who is still going, right? Is Larry Merchant? Yeah, he's still going. Dead or alive, Larry Merchant.
He's alive. I don't think he does boxing anymore, but he's alive.
No, I don't know that he does much of anything anymore, but Larry Merchant, a staple there on those broadcasts for many, many years, and you got to give him credit for even suggesting that he would kick Money Mayweather's ass after that Victor Ortiz fight. I don't know that he was doing anything that was so particularly or should have been perceived as being offensive to Money Mayweather, who, as you recall, Ortiz lost his mind in that fight, and almost in an Oliver McCall moment, is apologizing for the 100th time for this ridiculous, blatant, illegal headbutt that he fired at Mayweather when he had him in the corner. It looked like he was actually doing some good. And then he tries to apologize a dozen times, eventually puts his hands by his side. Joe Cortez, instead of a Hall of Fame referee, instead of jumping in there and saying, okay, let's get this thing going, let's Mayweather score, I think, his only knockout of his last 30 fights, when they knocked out Ortiz, who was standing there with his hands behind his back. And unsuspecting that Mayweather was going to have any kind of active aggression, and yet another great victory for Floyd Money Mayweather, who people came to despise. But don't overlook the fact, I mean, all those boring fights that you paid for in a pay-per-view, $100, $120 a pop, and still, to this day, does it bother you, Lubie? I don't know if you held any of these parties with the Mayweather pay-per-view fights.
I did. The Pacquiao one.
Did anybody ever give you the $20 that they promised that they were going to give you at the door when they were coming
No, people were supposed to share the Pacquiao fight. People were supposed to share. They did not share. I said fine, and I never bought a fight ever again after that.
That's it. Yeah, that was it for me. Used to throw these parties. Nobody ever contributed a dime. I wasn't expecting them to, but at least don't mess with my remote.
Exactly.
Don't mess with my TV. You feel like Pacino in the movie Heat. You can sleep with the guy. You can bang him right there in our bedroom, but don't let him watch my TV. And he takes the TV and throws it out the window there as if he was Antonio Brown. All right. Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, what's going to happen when worlds collide in this world and scene of legal prop bet gambling, where a guy like Clase throws a pitch. This pitch, I mean, it was so obvious that he was tanking this ball and deliberately missing. It was like a deliberately missed free throw. You can't miss that badly with a pitch unless you intend to do so. I mean, we've seen some really bad ceremonial first pitches thrown.
Yes.
This would have been worse than any of them. George Bush looked better throwing a ball. Carl Lewis.
I was going to say Carl Lewis. 50 Cent.
Any of the atrocious ones that you've seen in your lifetime, this made those pitches look like Sandy Koufax just was trying to nail down the final out in the World Series. But what happens if the other guy that's at the plate is also touting his people that his first, attempt, when his first pitch, whatever comes to him, he's going to swing it? That would be hilarious, wouldn't it? All the guys that were betting on Clase to throw a ball, they didn't realize that the guy that was at the plate also had tipped off all of his people that the first pitch, that no matter what it was going to be a strike. So he was either going to watch one go right down the middle, or he was going to swing and miss like he was Vlad Guerrero. I don't even think Yogi Berra could have swung at this pitch. It was that bad. But would that not be the ultimate irony, Lubie? If it turned out that the other guy also was touting his people that he was going to take a strike on the first pitch, and despite the fact that Clase throws his ball practically into the dugout, that he swings and misses, and it becomes a strike. Who ends up having to answer for that, Lubie? Imagine. I mean, what could you do if you were the mobsters that were supposedly being tipped off on this thing? Are you going to be angry with Clase? He did what he was supposed to do. You couldn't make a pitch any worse.
Yeah, maybe that's a problem. He should have enough control where he can make it near the strike zone.
Not even close. I mean, it was so ridiculous. And he kind of looks like, okay, I did what I had to do. Now, you're saying to yourself, is that one pitch early in the third inning to open up a count? If he throws a ball, I mean, he could have tried with every ounce of effort that he was capable of mustering up to throw a strike there and still missed. But this was pretty clear. It looked pretty clear that the fix was in. But what happens when everybody is in on the deal from opposite ends? That would be a tremendous meeting of the minds there. Where I don't know, what are they going to do? Are they going to shut down all prop betting?
Again, there's so much money in it. I find it hard to believe that the gambling outlets that have become so ingrained in all of our sports will give up the thing that is their key, is their moneymaker. I mean, Ken's talked about, like, the percentage they make on the prop bets is so ridiculous. They're going to now suddenly get rid of him. Like, I find that really hard to believe.
Well, and especially since most of these things are combined into like 5-6 component parlays.
Yep.
But Sarni says there's a $200 limit on prop bets. I don't think that's been established officially. I think that's just a proposition that's out there. That's a prop on the prop.
Yeah.
Where it's being proposed that prop bets be limited down to $200, which at that, you would think they would be anyway. A ridiculous bet, isn't it, Lubie? I mean, what bookie is going to sit there and take $50,000 on whether or not the first pitch of the third inning is going to be a ball or a strike? Can you imagine? Would you do that, Lubie? I mean, you're a bookmaker. You're making all kinds of money. It doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to go broke pretty quickly if you're taking that kind of action on things that are easily fixed.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah, I mean, I would think it would make perfect sense to have some kind of like rain, like they do with the Super Bowl. Again, this is easy to bullshit, so let's do that. Like if people could get away with this, especially with the throwing the game, then or throwing the stat, throwing the play, then you would definitely cap it at least. Like that would be I would think that would be the least they could do is cap it. And again, that's not going to make these outlets happy, but it's at least something that they're doing to try and stem the tide a little bit.
It makes sense. And he says that's in. That was instituted last night. No parlays. Is that universal? No parlays and a $200 cap on these kind of prop bets. And
No
is it just those kind of really minutia, individual pitch type of parlay prop bets, or are they doing that on? I can't imagine they're going to do this on all prop bets. And to eliminate parlays altogether, that seems to be the whole fun of making these kind of bets, no? Or you can bet 50 to win. See guys posting tickets all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, I bet 50 to win 3,000 or something.
Again, you're now cutting into the things that people love to bet. So I maybe they make this rule and maybe it stands for a little bit. We'll see how long it lasts. Again, these gambling outlets have become very powerful. They make a lot of money. They make a lot of money for the not even the networks, for the actual leagues themselves. So I'm curious how much. Now again, you can't have these gambling scandals because then that can bring the league down. So you definitely have to do something. I'm just curious how long it holds.
And he says it's only on the single pitch stuff, and that other parlays are unaffected.
Okay.
So the anytime touchdown, that's the one you see most commonly, isn't it? Anytime touchdown, over under a certain number of yards. It doesn't even matter. Do people even care about the score or who wins these games, Lubie? I would think for the most part, no. It's all of this prop bet stuff. But something needs to be done because clearly there's I don't even know if it's an evolving problem. The problem, the stench is already hovering over a lot of these events. And the amazing thing is, as we've been talking about ever since this became topical, is that you can actually influence a guy. I guess, Lubie, if you knew you could pick up a quick $50,000 tomorrow by doing something silly, by blowing a break here on the show, and people were betting whether or not we'd get any commercials in, and you just deliberately blew by it, no matter how much money, the millions that you're making on the program, would you jeopardize it for a quick 50 grand?
I wouldn't, but I get it. Like, especially if you're in gambling, you probably are not doing like financially, you probably have major issues. So you're willing to do whatever it takes to get out of the hole. I have never been a gambler. So it's especially if you're in a good space financially, to me, it's weird to risk it over something that's way less money than you are currently making. That just seems weird, especially in sports where it's such a short lifespan, where you can only make this much for this period of time. Why would I look, okay, keep an eye on guys later on if you really want to be gambling guy. But right now, I would just make as much money as I can for as long as I can. It just seems weird to mess with it for something like that. That's why it lends me to believe that they were in some kind of issue, because 50 grand, as great as it is to someone like me, someone like that, it's a weird risk. So they must have had gambling issues and some stuff like that, because it's a weird thing to do when you're making money like that.
People that have a lot of money, though, and are making it sort of easily. Look, the salaries in Major League Baseball and all pro sports are far from reality, are they not? I mean, the average guy is sitting there happy if you grind. I remember my accountant telling me, I remember when you dreamt about making 100 grand. This was in a year where you unfortunately ended up paying like 100 grand in tax. And you thought, yeah, I mean, that was always, if a guy was making 50,000, it was big at one time. But when you're making like these unfathomable amounts of money, you wouldn't want to risk it, you would think. But is there a tendency maybe to take it for granted? And then if somebody's just going to hand you like 20 grand, your temptation is to take it, right? And you're saying, well, all I have to do is throw a ball here to open up the third inning. Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
It makes some sense. I don't know. I mean, maybe the guy's in a deeper jackpot. That's possible. I mean, the Tim Donaghy thing, Wasn't he deeply in the hole to some bookies or whatever? I mean, you're wondering if that wasn't the case. That was the problem with the whole Pete Rose thing, right? Claiming that he never been on baseball, but you can't have this where a guy gets into a situation where he's in the hole, some exorbitant amount of money, and that now is in a position where the only way out is to be influenced and go ahead and make something happen that defies and goes totally against whatever little integrity the game may have. So, but definitely a problem. Hopefully, they'll come up with some kind of solution for it. But if you're taking bets and taking substantial amounts of money and willing to book that on whether or not a pitch is going to be a ball or a strike, you're opening up a real Pandora's box of all kinds of problems, which now have surfaced to the point where you're talking about virtually every sport has been implicated. I haven't seen anything in hockey. Have you? Where a
No.
goalie all of a sudden went blind. You might have accused Bobrovsky of some of this stuff.
I've said that many a time.
Talk about playoff pop. So, yeah, I mean, it's continuing development. We'll see. Maybe this will curtail some of this stuff. I would imagine it's a situation that virtually every commissioner would like to see go away. It's kind of the Epstein files of professional sports at this stage, where, I mean, it's not quite as severe because you're asking yourself, I mean, if you're continuing to bet into these sort of things, realizing that there are many players that have been influenced, then that's on you, is it not? You may as well just start betting professional wrestling and hope that you get your hands on one of Vince McMahon's scripts. Did he actually write that stuff out at some point, or did he just tell the guys, okay, sunset flip, 11 minutes into the match, top rope? I told you my story about that, right, Louis? Many, many times I was calling a professional wrestling televised match. It was kind of an obscure, smaller circuit here in Miami. Tyree Pride, the Haitian sensation, was the promoter, and he was also wrestling in the main event. And a guy comes up to me and claims to be the director of the show, and he details to me everything that was going to happen in the first match.
Oh,
and
geez.
sure enough, it happened exactly that way.
Oh, God.
And I'm thinking, wow, that was kind of unique. I mean, I always knew wrestling wasn't on the level, but I didn't realize
everything.
how just severely scripted it was. And then it turned out the guy wasn't the director at all. He ended up he was a midget wrestler, and he was involved in the second match on the card.
Oh, that's funny.
So I'm thinking this guy's information was pretty good. But if you're betting on professional wrestling, are you not sort of doing the same thing now? As you're counting on these guys having legitimacy, and it turns out they're all in the take. So hopefully that is a situation that'll be corrected and corrected quickly. All right, a lot of stuff coming up on the horizon here. At week number 11 of the NFL, the Dolphins on their way to, is it Madrid?
Madrid, yes, sir, Madrid.
All right, what do you make of this, Lubie? What's left in the season? What's left to hope for? I know you're not optimistic about anything. Did 3-7 help them turn the corner?
No.
What possibility if they ran the table? They have 7 more games. They could end up 10.
The Commanders are a mess, and they're actually the favorite. I think they're going to lose to the Commanders and go right back to where they were before this weird Bills game.
Okay, and where does that leave you with the Buffalo Bills? We were just thinking they were the best team in the league, or at least many people were. That obviously has been refuted by getting buried by the Miami Dolphins. You start the week with the Patriots and the Jets. Patriots laying 11 and a hook at the Jets, who have resurrected their hopes from the grave with 2 consecutive victories, 2 thrilling victories, in spite of the fact that they had, in essence, a fire sale. I was badly buffaloed by that, speaking of Buffalo, because I thought the Jets would have no chance after trading Williams and Gardner, and taking 2 pieces out of their defense that were actually reliable. And even though Gardner's play has not been as stellar as it was when he first came into the league, still a guy that you'd like to have on your team. And I thought the Jets had compromised themselves to the point where there was no hope. Patriots aren't running away and hiding from anybody. They're at home. Do they beat the Jets by 11.5 points Thursday night?
Probably. They've won solidly in a lot of their games, and the Jets are a disaster. I know this week was a little different, but the Jets are not good.
All right. The Dolphins, by the way, I believe are favored in this ball game. against the favored by 2.5 over the Commanders, who you say are a mess, and I believe you're accurate in that.
They are a mess.
So, trying to find a marquee game here. You have the Eagles and the Lions. Eagles at home against the Lions, and they're given 1.5. Are the Lions back on track, or are they going to be Jekyll and Hyde all year?
It feels more like Jekyll and Hyde to me.
All right.
But I think it's weird. I don't like Campbell, as we know. I'm weird about the coordinators, but they've seemed to overcome that a little bit. I just don't know if they're the same as they were last year. The Packers, Eagles, and Lions are very interesting to me. They all have their flaws. And I'm ready to put the Eagles to bed, but that defense is something you can't just ignore. I don't know. I don't think any one of those three teams is perfection, but those, to me, they're all very close, those three teams.
Who's going to win it all, Lubie? Any idea?
Oh, God.
Do we have any idea who's going to win it all?
It felt like the Chiefs were gaining steam, and then they've sort of fallen off. The Patriots and Colts, to me, I don't know what to do with. The Bills have been up and down all year. There's a lot of what ifs in the NFL right now.
You believe in the Chargers?
I mean,
Rams?
I think they'll finally make the playoffs. The Rams are interesting. The Rams are a team that's one that I don't put in that group with those three. I put them in that notch below. But if Stafford's healthy, the defense has come back from losing Aaron Donald. The offense is you add Devontae Adams, who looks motivated with Nakua back. They are a very interesting team. And again, we love their coach, McVay's a guy that got a lot of credit early. They've sort of fallen back a little bit, but they're always just hovering around. I don't know. The Rams are a very interesting team to me. There's a lot of interesting teams. There's no one that's like scary.
Stafford's having a great time. He seems to be having fun.
He's healthy too.
Yeah. Seahawks, do we discount them completely because the Sam Darnold effect, where he had the big year going last year and then choked once they got to the playoffs?
I don't know what to do with it.
Broncos, we don't buy into the Broncos, do we?
The Broncos, I would put in that Patriot place and the Colts, they've had a good year. They have some interesting talent. They have a coach that's doing a good job. I don't know how far they go.
All right. Well, I have to make some one-pitch prop bets.
Okay.
Crazy stuff coming out of the world of sports. No doubt about it. All right. Now, a lot of college football. We'll get into that a little bit more tomorrow. And we haven't even addressed pucks yet on the season. We're just ignoring the early portions of the NHL.
It's early. I mean, it's early. Basketball, we just talked because the Heat have been surprisingly good, but we barely talked basketball. And hockey, it's very early. I mean, hockey's hard down here to get into until like playoff time.
Seems like it. I don't know. I mean, I guess the difficulty is you're thinking the Panthers without their two stars probably are not representative of what they could be.
Yeah.
So it's hard to gauge. The fact that they're still winning the majority of their games is a definitive plus. This Marchand deal, again, Bill Zito, man, coming up with a move that really has paid even larger dividends because not only was he an integral factor in them winning the Stanley Cup back-to-back, but he's carrying them through the early portion of the season. And, wow, I mean, a nice acquisition of an older player late in the year, a year ago, paying huge dividends. Bill Zito, once again. Could he not take over the reins as a Dolphins GM? That was the other thing that was interesting, that Joe Shane survived while Brian Daboll got fired.
That's interesting. I don't know what they're going to do with that. Because
screaming about that in New York.
I presume he'll be gone too. I mean, again, he's been a disaster there.
Why would you let him lead the coaching search?
I presume he'll be gone soon. They didn't want, maybe they want to have him finish the year. They did the reverse of the Dolphins. I don't know. But again, you want to do it right. If you keep either one, you tie your hands because a really good coach may not want to be tied to that GM. So to me, you cut ties with everyone and start over when you make a coaching or a GM change.
His resume isn't a whole lot better than Chris Greer's.
No, it's bad. He was a disaster there.
Here's a column here, Average Joe.
Yes.
His hits, drafting Jackson Dart, trading and signing for Brian Burns, drafting Malik Neighbors, who unfortunately is injured.
Yeah.
And then he's got a long list of misses.
Yeah, his misses are
Evan
wrong.
Neal. Didn't you think Evan Neal was going to be really good?
Yes, he was great out of Alabama. Yep.
Wow. Drafted Evan Neal. He traded up to draft Deontay Banks. Turned out to be a
Oh, there it is. Yep.
traded up and drafted Jalen Hyatt. He Daniel Jones. He gave him the huge contract. Xavier McKinney. He let him walk. The guy became a Pro Bowler and an All Star. Julian Love. He let him walk. He became a very, very competent player. And then he has a bunch of stuff that they're sort of undecided on, but don't look particularly favorable. All right, we have to get out of here. Thanks so much for being with us. From Mike Lubie Lubitz and young Luka Lubitz have been very well behaved.
Yeah, he's
Lubie.
good. He was horrendous last
Are
night.
you sedating this kid? Are you?
No, he was horrendous last night, so he's sleeping now.
The kid getting bigger, like really fast? What's going on? I saw the picture of him
Getting bigger. I don't notice it, but people, he's now at around 8 pounds, and he left the hospital at 5.2. So in less than a month, he's put on like almost 3 pounds. So yes, he's almost double in size actually, and he's an eater, and he had a very difficult night. So
really?
he's sleeping now. Yay!
All right. Worked out well for the show. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll have Tony Segreto go a little old school, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. And also, Thursday, Iron Eagle going to join us.
Yes.
It'll be in a little sort of aftermath to the usual departure time here. He's going to join us just after 9 o'clock. And then, of course, Friday, the professor and a big board. So that's always a lot of fun. So a lot to look forward to as the week progresses.
Yes.
Try and get out there and catch what's left of the cool temperatures. When is it going to be 80 degrees again? By noon?
It's saying the highs today are 68, so it may be nice all day today. This may be the one day where we just have nice all day, and then tomorrow it's hot.
Sounds good to me. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in. For Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. See you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:04.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.